Tonight, an ABC investigation uncovers evidence that violence is rife at Sydney's Star Casino. The Department of Justice review leaked to the ABC suggests there could be serious ramifications for the casino's licence to operate in Sydney. Alison Branley has this exclusive report.
The report found that it's here at the casino between the hours of midnight and 3 a.m. that violence was at its peak. The ABC understands Mr Dungay was being restrained by 4 corrective services staff at the time of his death.
How worried are authorities about this weather later in the week?
Well, at the moment, there are still 119 fires burning around the state. There were tears in the federal court today by a packed gallery of women who'd assembled to hear the end of this 2-year class action. Researchers found women want things like easier access to desktop fans, breathable and layered uniforms, regular breaks, and access to flexible work time like that given to parents and carers.
Islamic schools around the country are in crisis, with staff sackings, protests and allegations of financial mismanagement.
Get out, get out! Schools run by the Australian Federation of Islamic Councils are mismanaged. Just last week, 15-year-old Rami was expelled by text message.
It's getting more and more extreme, I could say.
It's Friday prayers at one of Sydney's biggest mosques, and it's packed.
It's dictatorship, no more democracy.
Following the ABC's inquiries, the ACT government says it will now consider cancelling the registration of the ACT Council and could potentially take its assets. Breen was sentenced to 42 years in jail, but the former security guard may only serve 33. Breen sat quietly during the sentencing, often with his head bowed. When his term was handed down, he blew a kiss to a small group of supporters. But that enraged the victim's family, who hurled abuse from the gallery. The reason we can bring you this story is that Pathology Australia is one of the publicly listed donors to the Tasmanian Liberal Party. State Parliament is about to consider reforms to the state's political donation laws, as more than 3/4 of political donations aren't publicly disclosed. We're standing in about 10 centimetres of snow here. It's just been too treacherous for most cars to get through. We've seen the occasional 4-wheel drive, but none for some time now.
Seems barely a day passes lately when we're not reading new allegations of dodgy dealings in the private vocational training market.
Just sign up, just take it, it's all good. It doesn't cost anything, it's free.
The controversial college is owned by National Party donor Maureen Hussein Mustafa. Now the administrator, Robert Moody, has told the ABC the reason is the college's computer systems were maliciously hacked the day administrators came in. The company ultimately had to pay back $44 million over 12,000 bogus enrolments, and it promised to change.
I have no diploma, no job prospects, but I have a looming debt of $16,000.
And how are the women today? It's quite a big thing, a courageous thing for women to speak out like this. I'm not sure if you've spoken to them, but how are they going since the story broke?
I think one of the things the women have pointed out is in none of the statements released yesterday was there any apology. This is Macquarie Head, where most of the rescue efforts are being based. Behind me, there's about 100 of the whales that are still stranded. You can see their tails kind of splash up in the air as they struggle. Every now and then, one will get towed out, but for every 1 or 2 that's towed out, another will come back in.
Alison Branley has this exclusive report.
This purpose-built house has been sitting empty for 3 months. The state government says clients can only have it if they use Sylvan Vale as the provider, but their parents say that's not good enough.
Had your hair cut. Oh, right.
So when Jane started returning from her group home with black eyes and bruising, she used signing to tell her parents she'd allegedly been assaulted by her carers.
So it keeps coming back to the fact that because you're disabled, you won't be believed. So it hasn't been good. Certainly not an easy one.
New allegations of serious mismanagement have emerged at one of Australia's most prominent disability care providers.
This is Elke's bedroom, and there's where I found the backpack with the empty condom in it. I said, how do you relax with this particular care? And she said, oh, you know, he was touching her on the arm and he did, you know, different things, and then he touched her down and things like that, and that is how she learned to relax.
And what was your reaction when you heard that?
I was horrified.
Hanny Nielsen took her daughter's case to the Queensland Government, and they agreed Lifestyle Solutions made a serious error when they allowed the carer to continue to be employed.
First, an exclusive report, another disturbing story from a group home. An Australian mother has told how her son, who has an intellectual disability, was declared clinically dead 3 times after being put on a potent cocktail of psychotropic drugs.
Jason, do you remember being in hospital?
Yeah.
And how come you went to hospital?
I wasn't feeling too well.
And do you remember what it was like at your old house?
I didn't like it.
You know, the first year that Jason was in care, he's been assaulted, he's been neglected. It has been 16 years of hell. I feel like I've been in a nightmare and just haven't been able to wake up.